The hour will not come until the Romans descend on Amak or Dabik. Then an army of the best people on earth will come out to them from Medina on that day. If they line up, the Romans say, "Leave between us and those of us who were taken captive so we can fight them." Muslims say, "No, by God, we will not leave you alone with our brothers," and they fight them. A third will be defeated and God will never forgive them. A third of the best martyrs in the eyes of God are killed, and a third is opened, and they will never be tempted. They conquer Constantinople, the fierce battle the world has been waiting for. It was said that its time was just before the appearance of the one-eyed Antichrist. It is a fierce battle, the likes of which history has not seen. Because of its terror, birds fall from the sky, killed. It is the decisive battle between the Arabs and the countries of Europe. And after you finish, what is this battle? Constantinople will then be opened, and the one-eyed Antichrist will emerge. What are the details of that battle? What are the signs that precede its occurrence? Is it imminent? What are the narratives and hadiths that mention the events of this battle? Which will happen at the end of time, the grand saga whiffs, historical and Islamic stories. There has been a lot of talk in recent years about the events of the end and about the epics and battles that will take place at the hands of the hour. At this time in time, the world awaits the bloodiest battle in history. It is the great epic victory there. God willing, will be for the Muslims over the Romans, where the Romans will turn against the Muslims. It is gathering the largest army that can be gathered to eliminate Muslims. In a fateful battle, it was said that it would be time with horses and swords. Its duration is 4 days. There are many proven narrations in the Prophet's hadiths. On the authority of the Prophet Muhammad, may God bless him and grant him peace. Remember the details and events before that battle. First, the Muslims and the Romans will rise by signing an agreement between them and agreeing to fight a common enemy. The Prophet, peace be upon him, said in that, "So you will invade the Romans in peace and security. So you will fight and they will fight behind you. Fatansurun and Taghmunun and Taslamun." Then after this reconciliation, the Romans turn against the Muslims and change me. As the Prophet, may God bless him and grant him peace, said, "Then you will return until you land in a hilly meadow." Then a Christian man raises the cross and says, "He conquered the cross." Then a Muslim man comes to him and killed him. Then the Romans depart and gather for the epic. These are some of the signs that will precede the great epic. The Prophet, may God bless him and grant him peace, describes the events of the beginning of that battle. In the hadith of Abu Huraira, may God be pleased with him, that the Prophet, may God bless him and grant him peace, said, "The hour will not come until the Romans descend on Amak or Dabik. Then an army of the best people on earth will come out to them from Medina on that day. If they bring him down from the people of the earth, if they line up, the Romans say, 'Leave between us and those of us who were taken captive so we can fight them.' Muslims say, 'No, by God, we will not leave you alone with our brothers.' It was said that the Rum are the Europeans and the Americans. Al-Amak is a place near Dabik, near Aleppo, Syria, and Antakya, Turkey. If they line up, the Romans say, 'Leave between us and those of us who were taken captive so we can fight them.' This indicates that a city has occurred, other carnivores between Muslims and Romans. Some Romans were captured by the Muslims, and those who converted to Islam later. They joined the Muslim army. They fought with them against their fellow Romans. Muslims say, "No, by God, we will not leave you alone with our brothers," and they fight them. A third will be defeated, and God will never forgive them. That is, because they fled and fled. A third of them are killed, the best martyrs in the sight of God, and a third will be opened, who will never be tempted. They conquer Constantinople. The conquest of Constantinople was mentioned in the hadith of Abu Huraira, that the Prophet, may God bless him and grant him peace, said, "You have heard of a city, part of which is on land and part of which is at sea." They said, "Yes, O messenger of God." Pibah said, "The hour will not come until 70,000 Bani Ishak invaded. When they came to it, they disembarked and did not fight with weapons. They did not shoot an arrow. They said, 'There is no God but God, and God is great.' One of its sides falls into the sea. Then he says the second, 'There is no God but God, and God is great.' Its other side falls. Then he says the third, 'There is no God but God, and God is great.' It will be opened for them, and they will enter it and take spoils. While they were dividing the spoils, a screamer came to them. He said that the Antichrist has come out. They leave everything and come back. And in a novel, while they were dividing the spoils, they hung their swords in olive trees. When Satan shouted at them, 'Christ has succeeded you and your family,' that is false. If the Levant came out while they were preparing to fight, they straightened the rows. When the prayer was performed, then Jesus, son of Mary, will descend. If the enemy of God sees him, he melts. Salt also dissolves in water. If he left it, he would not melt until he died. But God kills him with his hand. He shows them his blood on his spear." It was narrated by the messenger of God, Muhammad, may God bless him and grant him peace. In another hadith, about the horror of that battle and about the guerrilla group that takes place among the Muslims. Even groups of Muslims, they pledge allegiance to fight until victory or until sunset. It seems that the numbers of Muslims in those days were small, proof that Muslims are victorious when they receive support from the rest of the people of Islam. There is another novel that describes this epic on the authority of Asir bin Jabr. He said, "A red wind blew in Kufa. Then a man who had no hijrah came, any man with a very loud voice. Speech is incomprehensible due to emotion. He told him that he must learn. And he says, 'O Abdullah bin Masud, the hour has come.' He said so, he sat down and was reclining. The hour will not come until an inheritance is not divided. He does not rejoice in spoils." Then he said this with his hand and moved it toward the Levant. An enemy said, "They are gathering for the people of Islam, and the people of Islam gather for them." I said, "Rum means." He said, "Yes, and then there will be fighting. Severe apostasy. Muslims require a death police. Only a victor will return. Afik the lawn, even book them at night. He will fulfill these and those, everything that is not victorious, and the police perish. If it is the second day, Muslims require a death police. Only a victor will return." Everything that is not victorious, and the police perish. 3 days the battle continues. Neither team wins. All differences disappear. He says if it is the 4th day, the rest of the people of Islam guided them, so God makes the circle over them. They will fight each other tonight. He doesn't see anything like her. Even the bird does not pass by their sides. He would not leave them until he fell dead. Because of the large number of killings on the battlefield, excessive sebum, tenderness, and change in smell, the birds hardly pass by them in the sky until he falls and lies dead. The Banu al-Abkin will number 100. They do not find him remaining among them except one man. Then what spoil will he rejoice in? What inheritance is shared while they are? When they heard of a force that was greater than that, Then the screamer came to them, and a man shouts and says, "There is a turmoil that has occurred that is more severe and greater than the one they were in." He tells them the Antichrist has succeeded them in their descendants. They reject what is in their hands and accept Fiposan ten Fuaris forefront to investigate the matter and verify whether the Antichrist actually exists or not. The prophet, peace be upon him, said, "I know their names, the names of their fathers, and the colors of their horses. They were the best knights on earth at that time, or one of the best knights on the face of the earth at that time." The messenger of God, may God bless him and grant him peace, mentioned the number of Roman soldiers in this battle. Because nearly 1 million soldiers arrived on the authority of Auf bin Malik, may God be pleased with him, he said, "I came to the prophet, may God bless him and grant him peace, during the battle of Tabuk. He is in the dome of Adam," he said, "the number of 6 between the hands of the clock, my death, and then the opening of Jerusalem. Then 2 deaths will take hold of you, like the sheaths of sheep." Then the money increased until the man was given 100 dinars, and he remained discontented. Then there will be a trial, and no Arab house will remain without entering it. Then there will be a truce between you and the Banu Asfar. They will betray you and come to you under 80 targets. Under each goal there are 12,000. As for the number of 6 on the hands of the clock, as for the number of Muslims in this battle, it is unknown, and the messenger of God, may God bless him and grant him peace, he talks about epics and about signs and signs. However, no sane person on earth can cut off a specific and known time for the end of the world, or until the hour arrives, because this is from the unseen that God, blessed and almighty, has singled out. Neither a close angel nor a sent prophet appeared before him. Even if the chosen one was Muhammad, may God bless him and grant him peace. O God, help us to remember you, thank you, and worship you well. And we are steadfast in the firm saying, in this life and in the afterlife, we were blessed with a good ending. Paradise is the highest paradise, without judgment or precedent of torment. Your mercy, O most merciful. This is by God, blessed and most high and most knowing. May God bless and grant peace to our Prophet Muhammad, and upon his family and companions, may you always be in God's care and security. Peace, mercy, and blessings of God.